I'm not saying that that was the reason that I lost, but I'm just saying one of the factors that contributed to my resiliency, I would say,
Yeah.
to not tilt was that feeling of being rushed, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think there's a couple ways to handle this. So, like, of course, in the future, if you're in that spot where you're feeling rushed, you're not going to be able to play your game. Same as your policy, where the days you don't get enough sleep, like it would just be like a day you say no to poker. The other thing, though, and I think this could be actually the bigger thing, is it does sound like it's a decent amount of like short-term thinking. Like it's, you're feeling rushed to like do well this one day. And I would really urge you to like zoom out and have longer term goals. I mean, especially like say for a given month, like your goal is to hit, I don't know what you typically hit in terms of volume, but maybe it's 100 hours. So it's like thinking of this one 5 hour chunk is just it's just a 5% of my month. I don't need to make anything happen today because I've got these 95 other hours, and this is just one small part of this larger thing. And then within there, the month is just one small part of this much larger thing. It's just zooming out and recognizing I don't need to win today. I don't need to make this happen today. I just need to
Meaning,
show
I
up.
don't even need to play that day. You
I
know
don't
what I
even need to
mean?
play that day, but if I do play, all that I'm here to do is make good decisions for 5 hours to the best of my abilities. If the cards aren't there for me today, I don't need to force it today because I've got 95 other hours this month, and I've got, 1,000 something other hours this year to make this happen. It doesn't have to be today. The reason that I spent time with you today on downswings is because whenever we move up to new stakes, the first thing we have to do is think kind of worst case scenario. Like, what's the
Yeah.
worst thing that could happen and plan for that? And
Yep.
so you're already more than prepared for that. I mean, if you could lose 7,500, blink of an eye, and your bankroll would still be intact, you'd still be in great shape. So that's why I think this is a great move for you because it's going to get you some additional exposure to better players in a slightly bigger game. That's going to help
Okay.
you grow as a player. It's obvious you have very clear, defined goals for what you want out of poker and your results and where you want to get to.
Right.
And that's clearly giving you a sense of purpose. I would say have some purpose, figure out some purpose within the game that is independent from how things are going.
I mean, it's got to be just like I want to play every hand well,
It could be that, yeah.
right?
It could be even deeper than that. Like for me, this is what it is. Like, how do I use poker as a form of self-mastery? How do I use poker as a form of like a game in which I can try to be the best version of myself, even if and that might mean I'm losing. How do I use poker as a game where I can work on being a gracious loser and like handling myself with class in those spots? There's always some challenge that you can use poker as a way to work on yourself
Okay.
if that's what you want the game to be.
Yeah, that's real good. It's still early enough in the process that I don't appreciate how the game will put you into such difficult emotional places.
It does. And that's the key thing. That is the separator. Because again, I told you there are people that are intellectually smart enough to play this game. Like they can do well technically. The tough part is this game can be an emotional slog where you're just like long stretches of a lot of bad stuff happening. And the winning players, they're not the people that like somehow fortune favors them and they avoid all the bad stuff happening to them. It's like, no, the same bad stuff happens to them, but they're rooted in their bodies. They are fully present. They continue to make clean decisions unaffected by tilt. They take breaks when they need to. They work on their strategy away from the game, and they work on handling downswings. Like you don't become a professional if you cannot play during a downswing or you can't make it through downswings. So this is like the gatekeeper of like what keeps people out from playing professional poker. Everything, like as like everything difficult anyone would ever want to do, that's a major goal. There's some drawback to that goal that keeps other people that don't really want this goal out. And this is it for poker. There's a common misconception in meditation of like, I shouldn't be having these thoughts. I shouldn't be having these emotions. I should be able to clear my head by now. I'm a good, experienced meditator. It couldn't be further from the truth. Like my mind, I've been meditating for maybe almost a decade, and like my mind is probably a little less active than it used to be, but there's still like times where the weather patterns are very, very intense. It's not about pushing that away in any way. There's no forcing this out. Like I shouldn't be having this. There's no resistance. With meditation, it's always just a gentle redirection to something else. When the tilting thoughts are happening, you're not going to war with the tilting thoughts. You're not trying to push them away. You're just gently and kindly redirecting the attention back to the body, back to the breath. There's no battle. There's no battle to be had.